Welcome to the Black Men Think podcast. If this is your first time here, know that the views and opinions expressed by the Black Men Think podcast are those of the Black Men Think podcast and not the individual members. With that being said, we're about to be unapologetically, undeniably black. Enjoy.
So look, man, we already know the election here. This is the second night in a row. Like we don't
Came
know,
upon it.
and we're live right now. Like we're giving it to you as soon as we see stuff. So I just got one question. What's your takeaway from this year's election so far? Because we don't have an answer yet.
Oof, man. Ace, we ain't seen you in a minute, man. What's
up,
man?
y'all?
What you feeling, man?
I think my initial takeaway is that, there's a lot of quiet Trump supporters that just in public won't mention it, but they, and even the polling data, the statistics doesn't capture it because they lying. But when it comes to that, and they get to that ballot, or get to that booth, they vote in Trump. And you know what? It is what it is. I think that because in society and certain cultures, to say you for Trump's gonna come with some public scrutiny and judgment. But in the core, who they're not rocking with Biden, so they're voting for Trump. And I think that's just a real thing, People we probably know, people we friends with, they just, that's who they rocking with, and they're not gonna say it, but clearly there's more than the polling data is showing is supporting him because he just keep on, getting the numbers.
Just hanging on, man.
Hanging on, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy just to see the reality that America is almost literally 50-50 split on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's. I mean, it's not surprising, honestly. Well, some of us,
no.
Yeah, but to us, it's not surprising. But it's the reality,
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's tough because it's not even about the Republican Party. It's about, all right, some people, you may know people, or you may have been around people that obviously have a conservative worldview. It's like, but y'all letting this guy fly? Like,
right.
A liar? He's basically a lying, unqualified bigot and race baiting. Like it's just hard to wrap your brain around. Like, yo, not even Republican values this guy.
Right.
Like how?
That's the thing. It doesn't make sense on paper, or there's nothing logical about it, right? Like even because of course we've seen over the past couple of weeks, really, different people come out in support of Trump. And honestly, the way I really feel about it, man, like, hey, if you're voting, I just appreciate you voting, because I'm around a lot of people who don't even care to vote, and I get both sides of the argument. Like some people feel like, hey, why vote if my vote doesn't count? And we're seeing right now in Georgia, it's a good chance that Georgia about to turn blue, bro. And
that's crazy.
If it doesn't, it's because a lot of people have said that my vote doesn't matter, and without really realizing how everything kind of works. So I get both sides of it, but ultimately, when you see people come out in support of Trump, the common denominator is money. It comes down to their pockets.
It's
and
economics.
It's economics. Like they're looking at it, the support of Trump has absolutely nothing to do with morals or anything like that. It's all about the bottom line. How much money am I going to be able to save with being with Trump as the president of the United States? And so,
let me push back on that though. Low key, that does have to do with morals, because that says a lot about morally what guides you. It says a lot about where your allegiance lies. And unfortunately, I think what we're seeing, and not with everybody, but what we're seeing with a lot of people is your allegiance lies with your dollar before it lies with anything. And yes, we can write it off as, somebody take care of their personal interest in whatever, business, investments, the whole 9 yards, their own personal welfare. I get it, right? Like 9 times out of 10, a lot of our celebrities who publicly may appear, and Black celebrities even, may appear You know, like they, you know, at the cookout, like they part of the fam. You know, honestly, probably voted different on that ballot because it had more to do with their bag than it did with anything else. I personally, unfortunately, that to me says a lot about where your values lie, not necessarily just your interests. That's just me.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's tough. I mean, because you said they vote based on the dark pocketbook. Then you have some people, even like the religious right vote. Because I've talked to people, a couple of people who have talked to me about their wrestle. I'm like, hold on, you wrestling? And they have said to me, like,
but you wrestle
no, it's
what?
true.
I know.
Their wrestle was purely Christian. Like, and their idea, and their arrival, they're saying, I can't support a platform that is anti-abortion, anti-certain family values. And they're saying, they're saying, I hate what Trump. I don't believe in Trump the person, but Trump, the policies his platform supports. I can't negate that. I mean, honestly, it's like I hear you, but I think for me, I feel like I don't know if you can hide either vote, Democrat or Republican, under the guise of Christianity, because it's like it's not really like it ain't really much.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, at the end of the day, you know, I think the unfortunate fallacy and culture that we've been ingrained in, a lot of people, and I'll say me included, just coming from my, you know, my background and how I was raised, is people vote the presidency on issues as opposed to the leader. You know, like, this is not a vote on the issues. This is a vote on who's leading the country, you know? And granted, unfortunately, the narrative has been drawn that you vote one or the other, that there are two choices, and whatever morals and values fall into one pocket or the other, you're choosing based on that whole pocket of that whole picture of you know, ideology in a sense. But the reality is, and I don't think it's ever been more clear than this election, we're voting on leaders. Like, so pick the leader, you know? Yeah.
Because my thing is, if you got a leader who has terrible character, but they have supporting policies that align with your values, I think the character is almost as influential and detrimental to the majority of people. I may not agree with all the policies on the Democratic side, but I'm like, well, I think this guy has a better character to appeal to most people. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna try this one. For me, I'm not necessarily I've always struggled with this. I'm not necessarily like a blind allegiance Democrat voter either, because I don't know if I believe. I think politicians gonna be politicians. That's
you don't fit in any box. Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, I'm not gonna be, if Biden wins, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm glad Trump's gone. Yo, Biden, what you gonna do? That's how I am. Like, what's up? What you going? What's up? You know what I'm saying? Local elections.
I think that's the key. Like, we have to, regardless of who wins, we have to hold them accountable. I think that's what is not happening. And to be fair, we have to hold our local officials accountable. That's really
the real thing. That's something I know I gotta do better. I gotta do better on, like, being more engaged locally, because it's like you see certain things and it's like, oh, that has this implication. Somebody tweeted the other day, somebody showed me a picture that was like, they showed a picture of like Vine City, like in the hood. It was like the hood if Trump wins, and said then the hood if Biden wins. It was the same picture. I was like,
no, facts. That's
got a point.
That's and there you go.
So speaking on that, right? And Corey, I want to get you in here too. But I was listening to a podcast, and man, they said something so profound, bro. It was just like, you know, the historically the divide with white and black people when it comes to politics is that if you driving down the street in a white neighborhood and there's a pothole, statistically, the white neighborhoods know who to call to get the pothole fixed immediately. In the black neighborhoods, we just hit the pothole and then complain like, man, they need to fix these streets.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's where it stops. And I think for us, whenever it comes, especially whenever there's a presidential election, we get so hung up on who's becoming the president that we forget the trickle down. Like we don't even pay attention to the trickle down. And like I
We don't
personally
know
can
the
tell,
trickle down, bro.
we
I don't
don't
even
know the
think we
trickle
know
down.
it. Yeah.
And I can honestly say right now, I don't know who I need to call to fix like right now, if I look outside my window, my section of the street is dark. We need a light. Who do I call to get a light put right here? And then do I need to contact my neighbors to tell them to call them too? Like it's things like that that we need more information on. So like Corey, I know you've been solid, and really because I know you watching everything, and you are our researcher for this evening. But what's your thoughts, man, of like what's going on right now? Like what's your initial reactions?
For me, man, I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. Basically because, I mean, it's not over until it's over. I mean, I would think that based on everything that's been going on, coronavirus and how it's been handled by the current administration, that it would be the gap would be greater in, Biden having a lead, but obviously that's not the case. But the good thing is, it's not how you start, but how you finish. So
Well,
it's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be important. But the one thing I wanted to point out is the one thing I don't want to happen is, if Biden lose, I don't want people that actually, first time voters to get discouraged and from here on out want to vote.
That's a good point.
But I'm glad that, I mean, maybe things are working out like they are working out, because this will show people that, hey, the voters, the Black communities showing up in these, Philadelphia, Atlanta, and all the other big Black cities, the votes really do count. So, I mean, it's interesting so far, but it's to me, it still can be a toss up. It can go either way at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I like what you said. Yeah, go ahead, Mo.
I was going to piggyback off what you said because it connects to my takeaway from this. And I guess, even just talking, I'm just thinking about, like, my favorite athlete and a quote that he said, and his job's not finished, right? And I'm thinking about the fact that no matter how this election turns out, let's just say, for the sake of the Black community, Biden wins, obviously, because, we don't see Trump. Mostly the Black community doesn't see Trump as an advocate for us, right? I think there's positivity in all of this because we have seen what our vote matters, how much it matters. Ironically, wearing the shirt matter. No, this is not a MAGA hat that says Black lives matter, just so everybody's very clear about that the day after the election, But at the end of the day, I think we have seen a very good picture of what we can do when we go do it. But the point is, let's not stop here. Like, there's some more elections coming for us.
Right, runoffs.
There's some runoffs coming in a few months. In Georgia, we got a major one and possibly another one pending on January 5th, Georgia. So if you're listening, Georgia, you need to be very aware of the candidates that are going to be in a runoff on January 5th. Put the date on your calendar. Come back out to the polls. Like, don't just accept the presidency, kind of like JD was alluding to, for it. Like, we got more to do. And then after that, there's going to be eventually another governor's race. And then there's going to be another presidential. Like, this is a historic, election day. I mean, we've already seen that people have voted by absentee ballot more than ever before. People have voted in general more than ever before. This has to be a momentum builder, and it has to be something in terms of the Black community that we launch from and not rest on. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference. Like, we need to utilize this as an opportunity to continue growing our voter base, to continue spreading awareness. Like, I just have to give credit to people like Stacey Abrams, who when losing, unfairly the race that she lost in Georgia years ago, she put the pedal to the metal, man. And honestly, is to be applauded for this entire situation, because what she did with Fair Fight and making sure that, you know, and she kind of sparked the movement, right? And so many people got involved with making sure that people got registered to vote. And I mean, we've just seen it go far. We've even seen LeBron, you know, do his own initiative in terms of getting people registered to vote and making sure that their votes count and that they have the proper information the day of and can, you know, and can combat any challenges that they're seeing at the polls. I mean, we just see it. It's just a movement. And we have to continue building on this regardless of the outcome of this election, because guess what? Here's one thing for sure, right? Regardless of whether or not the Republican side loses, we can rest assured that they're going to have strategy in place for the next time. You know,
Right.
if they lose, they're going to come back even stronger and with even more strategy to continue voter suppression. If they win, they're still going to come back with more strategy to keep voter suppression going and moving in their direction. So what does that mean for us? That means we have to continue to educate ourselves. We have to continue to educate our communities and communicate to our peers, our family members, our coworkers, our churches, the whole 9 yards. Hey, now is the time. We don't have another presidential election 4 years from now. Now is the time to get registered to vote. You know, we have multiple states governors elections coming up, local official elections, different laws and different things that we have to vote on.
Right.
You know, from period time. We need to be aware, just as aware of these things as we are the NBA playoffs or the MLB or NFL playoffs. Like, these are serious moments that not only affect our present times, but they affect our future. And so let's not stop here.
Yeah. I had a thought, just curious, speaking of like 2024, if Trump loses now, can he run again?
Yeah. I think,
yeah, because he didn't have 2 full terms. Or I don't know if that's the rule. I'm just assuming that that's how it goes.
He can run again. I
just thought about that. I'm like,
I don't think he will.
he might be back.
why you playing that boy? You think he gonna sit down?
Hey, don't sleep. Trump Kanye ticket. You heard it first here.
Or
you heard it first here.
Trump Jr. One of his sons.
That would be so. I don't even want to get on Kanye. We can save that, but that's just like
he's a tired conversation.
But you can see it happening, can't you?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, bro. Like
that's what I'm saying.
That as a real thing can happen in 2024.
Just imagine. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just did a little fact check on here, and it said according to the U.S. Constitution. Hopefully, this website is credible. I just Googled it. It said the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution states that no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, but does not stipulate that those 2 terms must be held consecutively.
Gotcha.
I like how you read them facts, boy. You read them facts like you
found that thing, man.
So over there you go. That lets you know that if he doesn't get elected this term, he can come back again.
That's a good point, Ace. That's a good point.
That boy gonna be back. He's 74. He'll be 78, 80, 78.
He'll be 78. I mean, and say what we want to say about Trump. Trump is in actually some good shape to be 70.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't.
I think he's 70. Is he 78? No, I think Biden is 78. I'm tripping.
Looks like 74.
Yeah,
he
Trump
was
doesn't
win
look.
after that
He doesn't look that old. I will give him that credit. I'll give him that. I was another conversation that I was having though, man. It's like, you know, with everything that's going on, like this time around, was actually the first time that I voted via absentee ballot. But in addition to that, just the different options that were available, right? So we had the traditional go and stand in line, early voting, day of. We had the different venues like the sporting arenas, which I thought was super dope because that really helped out with flow as far as people getting in. But, you know, I have the question of when is the technology going to advance, bro? Like, we're able to do so many things via our computers and our phones. Why don't we have the option to vote from our phones? Like, I really think that we can engage the youth a lot more if we're able to do that from, like, we do everything else from our phone. Like, we do everything from our phone, bro. Like, we bank from our phone, social media, emails. We do everything from our phone. Why can't we vote from our phone? And
they don't want that.
Yeah,
it's too susceptible to like hacking or.
Yeah, I think the problem will be, because I know this, you know, with buying shoes and stuff, these program bots, I think there will be a lot of hacking going on and, you know, manipulating the votes and everything. So I think that probably, I don't know, you know, what they
like
can
they
do
doing now, right?
stop that. Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah,
and
but
I
I think
hear
I
that.
feel you. I feel you.
from what I
I hear
heard
that,
earlier,
and I've
they
heard
said
that
that the
too.
military, I think they were talking to the Secretary of State for Arizona, I believe, and she was saying that the military, I think they can submit theirs electronically. But I mean, when you're talking about like, you know, the whole United States, I guess that's a whole different ball game.
I'm only saying have it as an option. And here's the thing, Corey. Like I hear that, and I've heard that as a reason why. But the way I combat that is say like, well, I just completed my U.S. Census online.
Mm-hmm.
I just did that, right? That is a legal document. I can do my taxes online. I can pay the IRS online. You see what I'm saying? And there are ways to verify all of this. If they have the infrastructure, I think what's the problem? If I go there and I'm putting in my social security number and I'm going through the steps to verify I am who I say I am, why can't I do that way to vote? It's just kind of weird to me that we don't have those capabilities, man.
They don't want that smoke, honestly. And I'll say it like this: for the young voter to be a risk, you know, to the side of the elections that typically is involved in the oppression of, you know, people of color and such, right? But why make it easier? You know,
Right.
like I think the system that's in place creates multiple barriers, especially for people of color and then underserved communities. You know, if you're talking about, you know, transportation to a poll site, or just the general navigation of technology for some of our older, you know, populations. I mean, there's so many different things that go into the picture of kind of keeping voters suppressed, whether it's blatant or whether it's kind of some of that hidden stuff. I mean, it's all strategic, put it like that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to see, man, like, because we obviously are progressing, right? I mean, voting was completely different when our parents were voting, right? And now voting has changed even more. I don't, and I could be wrong, but I don't remember hearing about absentee voting as a kid. I just remember hearing about going down to the polls and vote. You know what I
I ain't
mean?
gonna lie,
And
bro.
so,
I haven't voted in person. Take that back. I did vote in person on the runoff election, but outside of the last runoff election, I ain't voted at a poll in a long. I've always do absentee.
absentee. I mean,
Like
it makes
8 to
sense,
12, like,
especially you can verify. You know what I mean? It's just it's convenient. Honestly,
I like just filling myself, put it in the mailbox and good to go. They probably count my votes right now if vote count. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Yeah, mine too.
they keep
I
showing.
just don't trust mailing it. I go drop that thing off at the drop box though.
That's what we did. Like we did
Okay.
our absentee, but we did not mail it in. We went to the box and dropped it at a polling location.
Gotcha.
And but I'll tell you the reason why I like that, because I was able to really research who I was voting for, as opposed to when I'm at the polls, kind of get flustered and it was like,
Democrat.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
He's supposed to sound black. He look black. He sound black. She sound black. Right.
hey, all black
Yeah.
everything. I ain't afraid to say you can vote all black everything, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Need some representation in there. I need to know what it feels like.
It's only
for a
been-
black man
yeah,
to tell me
for
that
sure.
this ain't good for me.
How we looking over? How we looking over there, Corey? I mean, we got any news on some of these, you know, standoff
Besides
states?
I mean, you just got the protesters gathering outside the election office in Arizona, talking about stop the vote or stop
Goodness
the count.
gracious.
Yeah.
Hey, I will say this:
crazy.
they will go to the next few months, regardless of how this week turns out, and if they actually name a president. It's gonna be some entertainment. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's about to get real, brother.
I mean, it's unfortunate, man. Like, you want them to stop counting valid ballots. Like, that doesn't make any sense, man.
Yeah, it's about to get real, bro. Y'all need to learn how to grow y'all fruits and vegetables, man.
You keep telling us that. You keep telling
No,
us.
I'm telling you, man. Like I I don't want to sound cynical or anything like that, bro, but I'll put it like this. And this is just from my household. When I used to tell my wife about like, oh, we need to make sure we farming and all of this, it used to be a joke. And then the pandemic hit and we weren't able to go anywhere real fast. And it was like, oh, you actually got some stuff outside that we can go to and have quick access to. And while I don't have a extravagant garden or anything like that, it kind of put a spark in her to see like, oh, well, you've been talking about this for like a couple of years. And now that we're faced in a time where things, you know how it was when we first hit this pandemic, bro, like you couldn't go to the grocery store. Like you just couldn't up and go. And we had access to things that because we were, prepared in a sense for it. So I'm just saying, man, you ain't got to have a huge garden, but you need to at least know how to do something. You know what I mean? Just in case, bro. Like the same way how y'all are with the guns and stuff, and that's my uphill battle in the household now. Is just, which is, I don't even understand that because my wife was in the military, but yeah.
Oh, that is funny. I didn't even think about that. Wow.
No.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Bro, I don't even
like
the garden thing.
You said what, Corey?
I said I don't even like to cook, so the garden thing probably gonna be no go for me.
No, you the single man in the crew, dog. It's all good.
Start off with a little pot in the crib, bro. Something simple, like some basil or something you can put right in the window that ain't gonna take that much.
I got you.
He ain't gonna do it.
Nah, he ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, sure. He gave that straight
basil hating over there before he gets a basil.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah. So I don't know, man. It's interesting that I think this is the first time that I can remember that we didn't know after day 2, right? Or no, it was the gore in Florida.
The Bush Gore 2000, I think.
2000.
I think that type one. So that took like 2-3 days. I think
it took longer than that.
Probably did.
I think because it went to court. I think it was like December or something before. Yeah, it was just. I don't
recall, but that was the only other. I mean, but like you said, that's 20 years ago. God.
The age just got revealed.
No, bro. Like I'm telling you, just a quick tidbit on age. You know how now when you fill out something about age, you're just getting lower and lower in the in the right age range.
Yeah.
Like
that's true.
For a while we was in that 25 to whatever it was for a while, and then you like, oh, hold on, I'm down here now. I got to go past 35 now. Like, okay,
that's true. That's true.
It was humbling the first time I had to do that. I was like, dang, I'm closer to 40 than I am 30.
Yeah, bro. Like it's a reality check.
Or you tell people the wrong age, you be like, hold up, no, that's wrong. That's not. I'm actually a year older.
You're 36. You're 38 or whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, I think especially because our core group, we still have like very youthful energy. We don't feel it all the time, and it's not until you really get around somebody in their 20s where you realize like, oh yeah, I'm the OG now.
Bro, I was gonna say we think we have youthful energy.
Yeah.
They would tell us differently. I be around 20-year-olds all the time, bro, and I'm uncle vibes.
That's what I'm saying, dog. Like they call me the old man at work, bro, and I just be like, man, don't do that no more.
That's all it takes, though. Just get around somebody 20, you find out real quick, like, oh no, I'm old because which all along I don't have the time, effort, or energy to even come close to that. Corey, you see something? What you?
No, they just still waiting on Arizona and Georgia numbers.
He about to tell us that Georgia flipped blue. That's what he about to tell us, man. Come on, Georgia.
It's definitely about to happen.
Let's keep this energy. Let's keep this energy, Georgia.
20,000 mail-in ballots left.
Oh yeah, that's we know. That's hopefully we just come on, Lord. Help us out.
Here we go. But look, man, Black Man Think Podcast, man. We appreciate y'all listening. Make sure y'all subscribe, rate, review. Make sure y'all hit us with questions, man. Ask a black man. If we like the question, we'll put it on the show and try to answer to the best of our ability, man. But that's it. We'll see y'all next week.
The Black Men Think Podcast.